All right, let's start with the big story that we are tracking this morning on WION, where Apple has become the first US public company to be worth, believe it or not, $1 trillion. Now, the iPhone maker's market capitalization reached the figure in afternoon trading in New York as its shares rose above 207 US dollars. Now, Apple's stock has risen more than 50,000 times since it first listed in the year 1980. Now, Apple is technically not the first company in the world to hit the $1 trillion, with PetroChina having briefly crossed the mark way back in 2007. Now, the first company ever to be worth $1 trillion was PetroChina way back in 2007, but that peak coincided with the Chinese stock market bubble, and PetroChina's shares would lose almost about 800 billion in terms of market capitalization over the course of the next 10 years.
I've loved watching it go up and up and up, and it's not that it makes me feel rich, it just kind of makes me feel like, geez, I wonder if I could be one of those like 85-year-old ladies who says, I bought Apple stock when I was 25 years old and I still have it, and now I can put my grandchildren through college.
Now, Apple's chief executive Tim Cook has said that iPhone maker's $1 trillion market capitalization was not the most important measure of the company's success. He's also added that Apple's achievement was instead a result of its focus on its products, its customers, and also its company's core values. Started in a garage by co-founders Steve Jobs in 1976, Apple has pushed its revenues beyond the economic outputs of several nations, which includes the likes of Portugal, New Zealand, amongst others. All right, so this is a historic achievement, the first time ever that a US company has touched $1 trillion. And to discuss more on this, we are joined in by our business correspondent, Sumit Chaturvedi, who is joining us from the newsroom. Good morning to you, Sumit. This is something which is extremely upbeat in the US markets, considering the fact that Apple has become the first US company to touch $1 trillion in terms of market capitalization.
Yes, Saleh, and the most startling fact is this. It's just almost a 10-year-old company, which is just a decade-old company, and it competes with the likes of McDonald's, big companies in US like Ford and General Motors, and all other companies. So, bigger fact here is that a decade-old company has become a $1 trillion company. So clearly it has ticked all the right boxes when it comes to consumer, when it comes to designing it. So we all know that it started from Apple MacBooks. And MacBooks started being a very big hit with the consumers. Later on, Apple iPods came now, which have clearly taken a backseat now. iPods are no more there. But iPhone was something that did this all for Apple. So all this contribution is mainly done by iPhones, and when it was launched, I can remember that in 2008 or 9, people were really not that bullish about Apple iPhones, but now they are. And 2 days ago, we heard a news that Huawei has taken over Apple as the world's second largest telecom company as far as sale is concerned, smartphone sale is concerned, but they did not take into account the profitability. Profitability is something which everybody should look at. And here the profitability and market cap has come into picture. A $1 trillion market cap in the US is clearly a big success for this tech company, and it has beaten the tech giants including Facebook, Google, and in fact the bigger companies in whole of US, including McDonald's, Ford, we all know Pepsi, Coca-Cola. So all these companies have been beaten by Apple within a decade, and we've seen the popularity growing day after day.
Absolutely. And also, just to put the numbers in perspective for our viewers, $1 trillion is actually bigger than the GDP of a lot of nations around the world. The GDP of the United States is about $13 trillion. That of India is about $2.5 trillion. And Apple, which is just a tech company, is now well over $1 trillion. Put that in perspective for us.
Well, absolutely. Here we go, and you have already compared that. But let's say Apple is now bigger than many countries put together in sub-Saharan Africa. Indian subcontinent, yes, even we can put 2 or 3 countries together, and Apple is clearly it's bigger than many countries put together also. So it is in a way moving across the continents, going from one country to another country, still has to actually, but we should talk about certain challenges which Apple is facing as well. This is market cap, which is more about the sentiment, Saleh. We've seen Facebook losing $120 billion worth of market cap in just single days. So in a way, we can't say that this is something which Apple should be too proud of, because the problem now before Apple is to maintain this market cap. And it is over the last few months, we have seen Apple has not been able to do that in many sectors, especially in iPhones, where iPhone X and iPhone 8 sales haven't been as good as iPhone 5, 6 sales. So now bigger than this, the challenge before Apple is to maintain this kind of position in the market. Remember, market cap is again a matter of sentiment, and sentiments can go haywire on a bad news. Also, we have seen Facebook losing $120 billion in market cap in just one single day.
And also, so just to talk a bit about this achievement, in the month of April, May, it was being speculated that it would be Amazon, which would be the first company in the United States which would touch a market capitalization of $1 trillion. But Apple seems to have beaten Amazon in this case. And like you said, in recent months, the sales of Apple iPhones have not been that great. But still, in terms of how the markets are looking at the prospects of this company, it seems to be just going north.
Well, absolutely, Saleh, and it's because of the buoyant results we saw as far as second quarter is concerned. That was mainly based on the guidance also, which Apple gave, and we just showed to the viewers as well. So it's on the guidance, better results, and also one factor which people have failed to notice is the falling of semiconductor or chip costs. Well, memory chip, Apple is the second biggest user of memory chips, and memory chips costs have come down drastically in the last quarter, because of which the profitability has improved a lot, and that has that has contributed to Apple's profitability once again. So many factors are responsible, but the bigger challenge in front of Apple now is to maintain this kind of position in the market. Let's see how far can it go go with this kind of valuation, $1 trillion. But it's a big feat for a company which is just a decade-old company, I would say.